think I'd like to acknowledge that I sort of live in a bubble on campus, right? So I think campus is often broken into little bubbles. And so my bubble is a little bit of the social justice bubble on this campus. And in that space, I think it's very much been celebrated, and these movements have very much been supported. So much so to the sense that like we are supporting every single movement, not even being critical of what movement we're supporting anymore. And it's an interesting thing, and it's an interesting thing that's coming out of it. That being said, being a DP, I also see the other reality of it, of the students that aren't necessarily seeing these movements. And to be honest, I've been a DP for 2.5 years, and in those 2.5 years with BBUM was divest, was a lot of those different things. And I haven't necessarily seen a change in the students. I haven't necessarily seen like an all of a sudden awareness of it. I think, and I don't want to make generalizations, I think there's definitely a large variation in experience at this university. But oftentimes I think now I can acknowledge like, oh, this happened last year, but like never really acknowledge like what we're going to do from what happened last year. It's kind of like, oh, this happened, now like we're just going to continue living our lives. And so I think something we need to continue to do is push like, what do we do now? How do we maintain this in our mindsets, and where do we go from here? Because it's definitely a struggle.
I don't think the university has been a conducive environment for these type of student movements, whether it be #BBUM or UM Divest. It's really a matter of public image control. Obviously, the Black M is the university's greatest asset, and to tarnish that asset not only looks bad, but it can make people not want to come here, make donors not want to donate as much. And I think that's where the university's, greatest concerns lie, and the only willingness to negotiate is around that concern. It's not around, bettering the environment for Muslim students in a majority Jewish campus or Black students in a majority white campus. It's more damage control. And one thing that it's been put like really well to me by staff and professors that do want to help is that because the collegiate life cycle is only 4 to 5 years, they can wait something like that out. And because the transfer of knowledge to student organizations isn't that great, many of these administrators have seen this happen before, and they can wait it out and know that it'll die out because those seniors will graduate, and then that organization intellectually will have to start all over.
Privilege is being able to walk into your classroom, sit down, and just be there. And just like talk without any reservations. Just say whatever comes to mind. Just raise your hand without thinking, oh, what is someone going to think about when I say this? Like, how is anyone going to be able to relate to my experience? Is someone going to try and devalue my experience? I'm not saying that, that only happens to students of color. It can't happen to multiple identities, but just privilege at this university, just being able to just be a student and just learn and not have to worry about all these external forces trying to combat that, and just not having the weight on your shoulders of, how is this going to, how are my actions going to represent, this entire group of people.
So I think that when people hear privilege, a lot of different things come up. I think race, people think of race, people think of socioeconomic status, people think of just all these different ways that what your situation that you were born into affects how you interact with other people, how people see you. So one thing that I know I haven't talked as much about yet is socioeconomic status. And I think that that's something that on our campus is really an issue in terms of its homogeneity. I think that, I think it can manifest in a lot of different ways. So even the culture that we have around, oh, let's go out and do something, let's go out to eat, let's go out and see a show, let's go out and see a sporting event. A lot of things on our campus cost money. And so I know for people that can't, if money is a really tight issue, or, oh, they're having to work 30 hours a week, and, oh, I don't have time to go out to eat and spend $15 on a meal, that can be something that can be really isolating.
I mean, now that I'm older, I feel the university can be, your experience and your journey here can be really, really, really awesome. And U of M tells you a great job of doing that and fostering this student culture of everyone who goes here loves it. And I've heard that across many, just conversations. But my question is like, which students love it? Like after they graduate here, like who are the ones that say like I loved every single aspect of being here, and then who is saying that like actually no, I can't say that I love every aspect of it. For example, like who are the students that the university like fully supports and is behind 100% of the time. Which parts of the which students are kind of selected to just sail through the university, without any problems. So that's one. I think that's one question that we have to keep on asking ourselves.
So my perceptions have gone through a cycle, I'd say. So first it was just like hopeful. I'm in college, got to sophomore, junior year, and I'm like, people are kind of annoying here. It's something I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just like being weird. And then senior year rolled around. Then cynicism seeped in, and I was like, this university stinks. Like, it's terrible. People don't care. But then I graduated, and then, I'm in a master's program now. So I'm more in a mode of like, there's some messed up thinking here in some ways, but there's a lot of great resources here as well. Like I work at Common Ground with IGR, so like even like within like maybe a greater structure, University of Michigan, like maybe like it creates like this oppression or like it perpetuates it, but there's pockets within the university that try to combat it. So try to focus on the positives of like within the university now.
For a prospective student, I would say you just really need to find your own way. I think it's very easy to learn a lot about yourself while you're at the University of Michigan, but it does take some self-exploration, and even if that takes time, it's really worth it.
To really embrace everything this university has to offer. I feel like I've been talking about this a lot, but it's such a huge institution. And yes, sometimes you feel disconnected, or sometimes you feel like you're one amongst a million people. There's so many things on this campus that can help you make this university seem smaller. So I would say, and be more of a home for you. So I would say to get involved and to really embrace the amazing things, the amazing people and students and faculty that are here and want to help and want to nurture these 4 years for you. And I would say just to have fun. I think that we get caught up. I'm a senior and I still do this. I feel like I still get caught up in like the day-to-day, have to do my classes and do this work. But just embracing all that this university has to offer and being excited and proud to be here, as stressful and as much of a learning experience as this 4 years have been. I wouldn't change them for anything. And I'm such a better person because of all these experiences, both good and bad, that I've had on this campus, and I'm so grateful to have gone here.
That this is a school with a lot of opportunity and a lot of surprises at places you wouldn't normally expect to find them. So this school has a lot of issues, and we've talked a lot about that, so race and all of these issues. I've also found some of my greatest supporters here, so people at Mesa, people, my advisor at DP, stuff like, people have been here to support me, and I found communities that I never thought I would find. So I've become a lot more connected to my South Asian identity, and I did not see that coming in. So I think being open to all of that and realizing that it's all yours to take. So realizing that you have a space on this campus, you deserve your space on this campus, and no one can take that away from you. So fight for it. Fight for everything that you think you deserve and think you want.